Hello everyone, my name is Victoria Badillo and I am currently a Gear Up tutor at Indian Ridge Middle School for the 2019-2020 school year. A little background information about me is that I graduated from W.H. Burgess High School in 2017. I am currently a student at the University of Texas at El Paso, and I am a psychology major with a minor in statistics, but my dream career is to become a certified nurse anesthetist in the future. In this video, we are going to explore a career in the medical field. The career we will be focusing on in this video is in the field of nursing. We are going to primarily focus on nurse anesthetist. Nurse anesthetists are better known as Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist, or CRNAs. You may be asking yourself, what in the world is a CRNA? How much do they make? How long do they have to go to school for? Are they not the same as a nurse? Well, listen up as we begin to explore the field of CRNAs, and hopefully all of your questions will be answered. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the word nurse is defined as a person who cares for the sick or infirm. More specifically, a licensed healthcare professional who practices independently or is supervised by a physician, surgeon, or dentist, and who is skilled in promoting and maintaining health. Now that you have an idea of what a nurse is, let's get into what a CRNA does and what makes them different from registered nurses. CRNAs are advanced practice registered nurses with graduate degrees who provide anesthetics to patients in every practice setting and for every type of surgery or procedure. You may be asking yourself, aren't CRNAs the same as anesthesiologists? The short answer is no. The main difference between CRNAs and anesthesiologists is the autonomy each profession has and the amount of years spent in school. Later in this video, we will go into the specific details and hopefully clarify any confusions you may have. First, we will begin with the history of how CRNA became a profession in the medical field. Nurse anesthetists have been providing anesthesia care to patients in the United States for more than 150 years. The CRNA credential came into existence in 1956. One of the most notable and historic events for CRNAs occurred during the Civil War. While the Civil War was raging between the southern and northern sides of the United States, there were many injured soldiers. Back then, nurses were the ones providing emergency care until the doctors could arrive. The nurses at these times were the first ones to administer anesthesia to wounded soldiers. CRNAs have a rich history in American history, and now CRNAs provide nearly 40 million anesthetics to patients each year in the United States. Now we will explore how to become a CRNA. Now on to the educational aspect of becoming a CRNA. The first step in becoming a CRNA is graduating high school. For most careers, a GED or high school diploma is required. After graduating high school, the next step is attending an accredited university and graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Once someone has their Bachelor of Science in Nursing, the next step is to apply to a CRNA master's program. However, most universities require applicants to have a minimum of 1 to 2 years experience in intensive care. You may be asking yourself, what is intensive care? Is there one intensive care unit that is preferred over the other? An intensive care unit, also known as an intensive therapy unit or intensive treatment unit or critical care unit, is a special department of a hospital or healthcare facility that provides intensive treatment medicine. There are many different ICU units in hospitals, which include Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, abbreviated as NICU, which is intensive care for premature babies. Next, we have the Pediatric Intensive Care Unit, abbreviated as PICU, which is intensive care for any child who is under the age of 18 years old. Next, we have the Psychiatric Intensive Care Unit, also abbreviated as PICU, which is intensive care for any psychiatric patients the hospital may have. Next, we have the coronary care unit, abbreviated as CCU, which is also known as a cardiac intensive care unit, which is where anybody who has heart attacks or any heart problems would be admitted. Next, we have neurological intensive care unit, also known as the neuro ICU, which is intensive care for any treatment or recovery related to the brain or neurological functions. Lastly, we have post-anesthesia care unit, abbreviated as PACU, which, as the name suggests, is care after receiving anesthetics. This is where you will find many CRNAs and anesthesiologists checking up on their patients and caring for them post-surgery. Each nurse is encouraged to find their own specialty within the intensive care unit and enhance and discover their weaknesses and strengths within that field. Obtaining a master's degree is the bare minimum required of any CRNA. However, as the years progress, there is an increasing trend for CRNAs to obtain their doctorates in CRNA. It may seem like it takes a decade to become a CRNA, but with commitment and hard work, the time will fly by. Now, we will move on to the question that many of you may be wondering, which is, how much money do CRNAs make? Well, like any other profession, the salary varies from state to state. The range varies from $118,000 to $270,000 or above, depending on the state. In the state of Texas, the salary ranges from $150,000 to $270,000. Once again, there is no set salary. However, the salary will vary based on the state, the hospital, and whether the CRNA is the main anesthetist there. This is called autonomy. Autonomy is the right or condition of self-government. For example, in the city, there usually is an anesthesiologist, which is someone who went to medical school, administering the anesthetics, and CRNAs will report to the anesthesiologist. In contrast, in the rural areas, which is an open swath of land that has few homes or other buildings and not very many people, CRNAs will be the main anesthetist and be independent and not have to report to a superior. So, CRNAs who work in rural areas usually have 100% autonomy. The CRNA in the rural areas also receive higher pays to work in locations most people do not want to live at. CRNAs are paid a hefty amount, mainly because of how demanding the job can be and how much commitment and time they spend in school and in clinical hours. Now we can discuss the hours CRNAs work and how their schedules can look. CRNAs have a huge advantage when it comes to work hours. Since there is a high demand for CRNAs throughout the nation, most CRNAs can negotiate with their hospitals to set a schedule that they prefer or that works best for them. For example, a CRNA can work 3 weekend night shifts for 12 hours a shift and have the weekdays off. Another example is that a CRNA can work 5 days a week but have 8-hour shifts during the day. Scheduling is very flexible and the possibilities vary. There are a lot of perks to being a CRNA, such as there is never a boring day, a decent salary, and being a part of a respectable field that saves lives every day. If you see yourself in the operating room giving patients anesthetics before surgeries, setting up ventilators, ensuring your patient is safe throughout their surgery, and adjusting the anesthetic medicine throughout the surgery, then I highly encourage you to start looking into CRNA schools and preparing yourself for all your ambitious dreams and the journey ahead. Well, I hope all your questions about certified, registered, nurse, anesthetist have been answered. But this concludes our video. Thanks, y'all.